Flag and we're racing. Schuler and Brownell right away. As everybody making it by, but Schuler and Brownell right away. Oh, the pace car pulling out. Schuler and Brownell right off the bat. He'll file back in at the back of the pack. All right. We've got a couple of more of the great-looking Winston National Short Track Championship hats. For lucky numbers, we read off your lucky number. Make sure you report to the Winston Souvenir Shop before you leave today to pick up your winnings. The good folks from Winston, RJR, with a couple of more hats. Brett, come on over here. A couple of more of those collector edition hats. Those things are great. Got yours yet, Candy? I got one for you for your birthday. Happy 58th, by the way, Candy. Candy Ferry's birthday today, 58 years old. Brett? Oh, she was 59 yesterday, that's right. She must be 60 today then. Brett, a couple of lucky winners here.
We sure do, Chris. Boy, that was a great first race. And boy, what a nice hat to take home until you get a new one next year for another great race. Let's have number 1864 and 1650 come on down.
All right, 1864 and 1650. You stop by the Winston Souvenir Shop. You're going to pick up that collector's edition hat. Great looking hat. You having a good weekend?
Oh, you know it, Chris. This is exciting racing.
The only problem to a great weekend like this is we all got to go back to work tomorrow.
I'll be starting early tomorrow.
All right. Brett's going to be right back at it tomorrow morning. But it has been a fun weekend, and all the folks from RJR and Winston, we need to thank them for their input all weekend long and all race season. Here comes the field picking up speed. Tom Carlson bringing him along, or Steve Carlson bringing him along. Green flag, and we're racing. Steve Carlson and Tony the Tiger Struck in the battle. Around turn two as they put Tracy Schuler one more lap down. Schuler off the pace in the 61 car. Kevin Sawinski, the 65 car, running third. Bobby Brownell running fourth in the 69. Running fifth, the 08 of Bobby Donner. Strupp and Carlson come up on the four of Matt Kinson. And a lot of sheet metal damage to the 65 of Kevin Sawinski. That sheet metal flapping off the right side of Sawinski's 65 car. Your leader, the 50 car, the white 50 down the back straight. Tom, or Steve Carlson. About to put the 44 of Neil Callahan a lap down. Strupp sticking right with Carlson. Sawinski and Brownell, the 65 and the 69, running third and fourth. Donner and Holzhausen, the 08 and the 78, running fifth and sixth. Bickle in the 45, running seventh. And Shearer in the 36, running eighth.
The 61 car, Tracy Schuler, looks like a trailing arm failure on the rear end. Looks like the day might all be done for 61. We're going to put the tire back on, send him back out, see how the car's going to handle.
A challenge for the lead as Tony Strupp looks to the inside of Steve Carlson. Lots of traffic in front of those two cars.
Well, the crew just decided, Led Barron of the racing team decided, and not let the car go out. They're going to put it back behind the wall as rear end failure on the 61 car, Tracy Schuler.
Running over right now, Steve Carlson in the 50 is your leader. The 12 of Tony Strupp running second. The 65 of Kevin Zawinski running third. The 68 of Bobby Brownell, or 69 of Bobby Brownell running fourth. Fifth, the 78 of Steve Holzhausen. Sixth is the 45 of Rich Bickle. Seventh, the 36 of Joe Sheeran. Up to eighth, the 87. The 87 car of Donner making his way back, but the 87 car running eighth, Brian Ruffner. Bobby Donner kept looking for him. There he is. Back to about 10th right now. Jimmy Weber running ninth in the 28 car. And Donner running 10th. Bruce Yackey in the 122 running 11th. Tom Carlson in the 51 running 12th. Larry Schuler, the 30 car, running 13th. Butch Miller running 14th in the 52 car. Neil Callahan getting the move over flag as Weber finally gets around him. The 90 car, Bob Fox into the pits. Al Schill, the 14 car, in jeopardy of going a lap down, as Steve Carlson has caught the 14 of Al Schill. Carlson around Sporowski in the 4 car. Fred Wynn and Al Schill trying to stay on the lead lap. Ignition problem. So ignition problem with the 93. Rick Witeski. Schuler back into the pits. And they'll pull that into the grass area. Steve Carlson, the 50 car, going into turn 2 as your leader. Tony Strupp running second to the 12. Running third, Kevin Zawinski in the 65. Bobby Brownell running fourth in the 69. Steve Holzhausen right there with Brownell running fifth. Richie Bickle running sixth. Joe Shear seventh and Brian Ruffner eighth. The 45, the 36, and the 87. Holzhausen to the inside of Brownell. Battle for fourth. Steve Holzhausen taking over the fourth spot as he clears the 69 of Bob Brownell. Between himself and Tony Strupp. Holzhausen Holzhausen goes to work on Sawinski. Steve Holzhausen, the 78, trying to move it up to third. Sawinski holding on in the 65 car. Holzhausen up to third in the 78. Sawinski trying to battle back on the outside. Will drop to fourth. Bobby Brownell continues to run fifth in the 69 car. Sixth, Richie Bickle in the 45. Seventh, Joe Shear in the 36. Eighth, Brian Ruffner in the 87. Jimmy Weber up to ninth in the 28. Carlson, the 50, closes in on brother Tom in the 51 car to attempt to put Tom one lap down. Scrump getting a little bump from Bobby Donner out of the corner. Oh, into the wall. MG Gajewski, the wheel coming down the front straight. The wheel will complete the lap. Gajewski will not. Nice catch, Dave. Dave DeSanti with the catcher's mitt on there. MG Gajewski will go to the inside as a lapped car. Steve Carlson, the 50, holding on to the lead in front of Tony the Tiger Strupp in the 12 car.
Chris, I am over here by MG Gajewski. They've got the fender pulled off the car. A new tire installed. They're going to do a little more work on the fender as out comes the cutting torch. We're going to try to get the 22 car back in this event.
All right, the one-lap signal from Tom Powell. The lights off the back road Pontiac Formula Firebird. Steve Holzhausen, the 78 car, up into third place. Bobby Brownell, the 69 car, in fourth. Rich Bickle up to fifth in the 45. Joe Shear sixth. Here comes the field creep flag, and we're racing. Right off the start, the 90 of Bob Fox pulls into the infield. MG Gajewski back out in the 22. Big puff of smoke coming up from behind the 04 car of Tom Spirowski. Some definite problems as he heads back into the pits. Holzhausen with the lap car of Dick Harrington in front of him, splitting him from second place Tony Strupp. Holzhausen now to the outside of Harrington. Steve Carlson and Tony Strupp. Clear track in front. Steve Holzhausen running third. Bobby Brownell fourth. Rich Bickle and Joe Shearer along with Brian Ruffner and Jim Weber off the pace. Weber's going into the infield. The 28 car into the pits. Weber just rolls through the pit area and brings it to a stop. Chris, oh my! Gajewski up on the car of Al Schill. The 22 car right on top of the 14 of Schill. Well, MG Gajewski, they were caught up towards the back of that, trying to stop those cars, and Gajewski's car ends up right on top of the 14 of Al Schill. Starts to pick up speed down the back straight. Around 4 they come. Green flag and we're racing. Carlson and Strupp right away. Off and running. Here comes Holzhausen. Harrington to the inside of Holzhausen. Joe Shear up to 5th behind the 4th running car of Bobby Brownell. Holzhausen has ideas on Tony Strupp as he looks towards the inside. And Bobby Brownell starts to slide right in front of Shear. Shear gets by. Brownell holding the track. But Brownell just about met up with the wall at turn 1. Joe Shear now up to 4th. Battle going on between Bruce Yackey in the 122 and Rich Bickle in the 45. Right front end damage to Bickle's 45 car. Jimmy Weber back out running strong, but he finds himself laps down in the 28 car. Carlson, Struck, Holzhausen, Shear. Then it's Bobby Brownell running 5th. Larry Schuler up to 6th in the 30 car. I believe 7th, Tom Carlson in the 51. Kevin Sawinski would be 8th in the 65. Bruce Yackey, quite possibly 9th in the 122. And Rich Bickle, 10th in the 45. Now Butch Miller just gets around Bickle. Joe Shear now testing the inside against Steve Holzhausen in the 78 to battle for 3rd. Those two cars less than a straightaway away from going a lap down. Yackey gets around the 99 of John Lobick. His way up through the field. So he goes to the inside of Bruce Yackey in the 122, but Butch Miller and Rich Bickle still on the lead lap, looking for an opening as Steve Carlson closes in. Back behind as they go around the 14 of Dale Schill. Just about a spin in turn 1. Butch Miller there with Bickle and Yackey. Bickle has gotten around Miller and Yackey. Rich Bickle not wanting to go a lap down. Sees Steve Carlson right back there. Yackey now going 1 down in the 122. Struck gets around and Joe Shear. So Bruce Yackey no longer on the lead lap of the 122 car. The 50 car, Steve Carlson, your lead car. Tony Strupp in the 12, running 2nd, running 3rd, the 36 of Joe Shear. Running 4th, Steve Holzhausen in the 78. Running 5th, Larry Schuler in the 30 car. Running 6th, Bobby Brownell in the 69. 7th, Tom Carlson in the 51. 8th, Kevin Sawinski in the 65. 9th, quite possibly, the 45 of Rich Bickle, and 10th, the the 52 of Butch Miller. Miller and Bickle in jeopardy of going a lap down. The 50 car closing in on the 52 of Butch Miller. They'll be attempting to put the 50, or rather the 52 car a lap down. Closing in on Butch Miller. Weber off the pace a little bit. Everybody backs up a little bit down the back straight. Some room now as Steve Carlson pulls up on the back bumper of Butch Miller. Steve Carlson's going to follow right behind. Steve Carlson now on the back bumper of Butch Miller, attempting to put him a lap down. Tony Strupp able to stay with Carlson. Joe Shear right with Strupp. Holshausen, another 10 car lengths back. See what Steve Carlson elects to do as he gets the second and third place cars, Strupp and Shear, bunched up behind him. Butch Miller looking for a yellow here. The yellow comes out as they complete lap 137. The yellow comes out. That's going to help the 52 of...
There's some work on the radiator. there. The back pits are now open. Holzhausen is away. There you see it, the way they came out of the pit. Steve Holzhausen now picks up himself a position.
And Rich Bickle coming right around. He's going to head back into the pits in the 45 car.
The Bickle crew ready again. They're working on that radiator. He's been having an overheating problem. Taking advantage of this. He's going to get right up next to that base car before he comes charging in.
One thing to keep in mind is that they've got the track dried, but it's a little slick in the pit area yet, as there's still some moisture on the ground. In the pit, Steve Carlson finally relinquishing the lead. He had led for 165 laps. And we have our first lead change with Tony the Tiger Strupp taking the point. They called for the cars to double up. The lap cars have the opportunity to go to the inside. Al Shilred, fourth car in the outside line with the air conditioner on. And we're going back racing. Tom Powell giving the one lap signal, one lap, and we'll go back racing here. 129 laps to go. The field, down the back straight. Tony Strupp yet to make a pit stop. Starts to pick up speed. Around turn 4, he comes creep flying, and we're racing. Tom Carlson, the second place car with 5 cars between him and Strupp. Carlson disposes of 2 of the cars, now 3 between himself and Tony Strupp. Tom Carlson getting a little loose out of turn 4. Sawinski right on the back bumper. Get caught up behind Fred Wynn. Now Holzhausen to the inside. Richard Lofi able to stick with Tony Strupp along with Dick Harrington. Tom Carlson and Kevin Sawinski unable to make up any grounds. Gajewski back into the pits. Joe Shear on the move in the 36. Now looking for a way to get around the 28 of Jimmy Weber. Shear to the outside of Weber. Holzhausen and Steve Carlson. Shear is hooked and ready to race now. Joe Shear up to 5th behind Butch Miller. Kevin Sawinski, Tom Carlson, and Tony Strupp. Tom Carlson now making his way around Dick Harrington. Sawinski following through. Butch Miller closing the gap on Sawinski. Down the back straight into turn 3, the 12th car. Carlson and Sawinski with Matt Kenseth, the 4 car in between. He pulls over. Carlson goes on by, as does Sawinski. Miller and Shear half a straightaway back from Sawinski. Sawinski putting the pressure on Tom Carlson now. Kevin Sawinski to the inside of Carlson. Lots of traffic in front of Tony Strupp, the leader of the 12 car, down the back straight. Greg Hurlbert, Don Leach, Bruce Yackey, and Jerry Wood. Oh, Don Leach just about cutting Strupp off out of turn 2. With sheet metal sticking off the back of the 122 car. Butch Miller now right up behind Kevin Sawinski. Joe Shear makes his way up there. Tony Strupp by 4 car lengths over Tom Carlson. Tony Strupp yet to pit. He's got to make that pit stop before lap 275. Here comes Miller to the inside of Sawinski. Butch Miller, the 52 car, on the move. Miller a little loose out of 4, tucks back in behind Sawinski. by half car length that time around. Miller with good position as they come out of 2. And MG Gajewski forces Butch Miller to get back in line. Miller's got to set it up all one more time. Joe Shear right behind Miller. Strupp out to 7 car length lead over Tom Carlson. Sawinski trying to hold on to the outside groove. Steve Holzhausen off the pace into the infield. And Butch Miller up to 3rd in the 52 car. Kevin Sawinski with some sheet metal rubbing out of the right front tire. Butch Miller goes right to work on the 51 of Tom Carlson. Here comes Joe Shear to the inside of Kevin Sawinski. Carlson and Miller in traffic. Tom Carlson bringing it out of 4. Miller, they get around John Loman in the 99 car. Neil Callahan in the 44. The 4 of Matt Kenseth into the infield. Looks like some overheating problems as the front of that car steams away. Oh, look at him tap on at 4. Butch Miller and Tom Carlson. That battle for second, but Tony Strupp has yet to take a pit stop. Butch Miller pulls it up into second. Strupp has got to be hoping that a yellow comes out soon. Oh, Strupp's car gives away the lead car. And Butch Miller right behind him. Miller lost in the smoke and he holds it on the track. My goodness. What a job by Butch Miller. And Tom Carlson, Kevin Sawinski, Fred Wynn. Fred Wynn has gone around Butch Miller's car. But Butch Miller, what a job of holding on the track. He obviously could see absolutely nothing.
Chris, we're going to try to talk to Tony. He's unbuckling right now. Fantastic race and a great race strategy if you really think about what they were doing. They really thought out during that rain delay what their plan was going to be. And Tony's coming out of the number 12 car. We'll talk to him in just a minute. But a tense moment there as those cars went piling into turn number 1.
Yeah, Tony Strupp did a good job of getting that car to the low groove when the engine expired.
Chris, here he is coming out of the car. Great race by Tony Strupp. Tony had a good strategy. It was looking good. Things were looking your way. And what happened?
I don't know, something left go in the motor. Just right now, it quit on me going into 3.
I don't know, you probably could see what was going on behind you, but there was some great dicing for position going on, but you were starting to pull away from those guys. Looked like you had this thing handled.
Yeah, there was a lot of car left yet. I was just comfortable, and we're thinking about, we still had to make our pit, but I knew it would have to be a yellow before our 2 or we would have had to come in the green, but I guess.
You didn't think the yellow was going to be for you, did you?
No, I never thought, not the way the Perkins Lumina was running today.
Well, it was a good run anyway for Tony Strupp. Was your strategy when you took off from the pit stop and saw everybody else take a pit, well, we'll wait just in case it might start raining again?
Well, I figured before the rain came, the only thing that I was just laying back waiting for Steve to mess up, but when they all pitted, I knew how much my car had, and if the rain that we drove through before didn't harden up the tires, I knew it'd be there. The car was strong until...
He's down on Richie Bickle's car, and he's out of this event for the day. Richie Bickle's window net is down, and they're pushing the 45 car behind the wall.
Yeah, that's going to be it. Richie made a valiant try at keeping that 45 car out. He kept her on the lead lap all day, which is no little task at all, the way the problems that they were having. We're going back racing here as the Backroad Pontiac Formula Firebird heads into the paddock area. Dick Carrington trying to get one of his laps back on the inside of Butch Miller. Field coming around, green flag, and we're racing. A good start for Butch Miller. Miller, Carlson, Sawinski, Shearer looking on the inside of Sawinski. He had an idea that time. And Sawinski had an idea on the outside of Tom Carlson. Oh, Carlson off the pace. Carlson off the pace in the 51. And Sawinski finally gets by, and Shearer holds on to that spot behind Sawinski.
Well, Chris, you'll remember Tom Carlson has that transmission problem. Using a bungee cord to keep it in gear. And I think by the way the engine is revving, that is the problem again. The car is out of gear and he can't get it back in.
Here comes Shearer looking on the inside of Sawinski. The battle's shaping up for second right now. Miller watching it in the rearview mirror. Joe Shearer and Kevin Sawinski. Carlson into the infield, Tom Carlson.
Chris, Tom Carlson ran out of gas. Ran out of gas in a 51 car. They were in with their earlier pit stops, fixing the transmission. It was early enough that they never had a chance to add fuel. And now the car has run out of gas. They get it back on its way.
Now that makes you start to wonder about the other cars and how much fuel they may have left. Joe Shearer looking to the inside of Sawinski. Kevin Sawinski. Oh, sliding up into the corner. Shearer with some position now. Sawinski able to grab it down the straight. Shearer again, inside Sawinski. And Fred Wynn causes Joe Shearer to get back in line, the 75 of Freddie Wynn. Shearer right up underneath the back end of the 65 ride. Shearer trying to set up Sawinski again. There goes Shearer. Shearer with position, grabs the second spot. And Steve Carlson looking looking to try to take the third spot from Ski. Shear trying to close the gap. 50 laps to go. 50 to go. Butch Miller in the 52 car. Joe Shear in the 36. Kevin Sawinski in the 65. Running fourth, Tom Carlson in the 50. Fifth, Larry Schuler in the 30. Sixth, Bobby Brownell in the 69 car. And I believe those are the only cars left in the lead lap. 6 cars. Butch Miller with traffic in front of him. Lots of two wide racing in front of Butch Miller. Al Schill with a nice move to move over and let Miller through. Joe Shear closing the gap on Butch Miller. The move over for Tom Carlson. He's about to go one more lap down. As Miller makes it by, and Shear makes it by. Sawinski caught up behind Bruce Yackey in the 122. Yackey moves over for Sawinski. And Steve Carlson, Larry Schuler. Yellow comes out, MG Gajewski spinning in turn 1. And the yellow comes out.
They're back a little pressure. See what happens.
Butch Miller trying to put up his name into the record book with folks like Dick Trickle, Joe Shear, Mike Alexander, Mark Martin, Dave Watson. Junior Hanley, Jim Sauter, all former winners, John Ziegler, Tim Fedewa, Richie Bickle. Here comes the field, green flag, and we're racing. Shear and Miller, a 2-car breakaway. Sawinski in the 65, Steve Carlson in the 50, trying to find room around Dick Harrington in the 5 and Jerry Wood in the 73. There goes Shear right up underneath Miller. A little tap, let him know he was there. It's all coming down to this Shear with position. Tucks back in behind. Into 2, looking to the inside. Butch Miller, Joe Shear. doing everything he can to try to figure out a way around Butch Miller. Laps to go. Zawinski, Steve Carlson, and Larry Schuler, the 65, 50, and 30, having a big race for third. Out of two, got the nose up under. Miller strong out of turn 4. Now, the 2 leaders coming up on traffic. Jerry Wood and John Lohman, all in front of Butch Miller. The first group of cars in front of Miller. Now they've got Neil Callahan, Al Schill, Don Leach, and Dick Harrington to contend with. Laps to go. Miller and Scheer continue nose to tail. The field getting the 10-lap signal. 10 to go. Miller holding on. Here comes Scheer. Again denied by Butch Miller. Question is, does Joe Scheer have any tire left to try to get around Miller? The books. 5 to go. Got some pretty wide open racing coming up. The 6th place car of Bobby Brownell. Almost a straightaway ahead of Butch Miller. It appears that the tires may have gone on the 36 of Joe Scheer. Can Joe Scheer close the gap? It appears he's struggling with the car through the corners. Butch Miller will get the white flag. This time the 52 car, white flag. Joe Scheer, Kevin Zawinski, with Larry Schuler. Miller into turn 3. Shear closing up. Miller out of 4. It's going to be Butch Miller. Joe Shear second. Third will be Kevin Sawinski in the 65. Fourth. Well, we got a spin over in turn 4 on this lap. Last lap. A tire off the car. But Butch Miller holds on in front of Joe Shear.
He's got all the crew here. Joe, Butch just said to the crew, boys, I abused it at the end a little bit. I think he was running it on the ragged edge. We're going to get a chance to talk to him in just a second here. He's about ready to climb out. This is, I don't know about you folks, but I thought I was feeling raindrops at the end. Ladies and gentlemen, the 300-lap winner, let's welcome Butch Miller! Well, the classic Shear-Miller battle returns, and boy, you had a mirror full of them.
Oh, man. I just had a black mirror. I couldn't see anything else but black out there.
Slow car, you know, Rockford's a hard track to pass. We all know that. You had the Rockford Passmaster behind you. That had to be going through your mind.
Well, we were really fortunate because the car was, at the end of the race, was operating its best at the top groove. And Joe needed the top groove to pass us, so you know, his car wasn't working as good at the bottom. Worked out great.
Looked like at the beginning of the race it wasn't quite everything you wanted it to be, and then towards the end it kept just getting better and better and better, and then we assumed that you were losing your tires a little bit towards the end.
No, not really. The tire stayed. Hoosier has an excellent tire for this track. The tire stayed till the end. In the beginning of the race, I don't know what was happening. Something is broken on the car because the cross member is bottoming out. And if I brake too hard for the corner, it drags the ground and pushes up into the corner. But I don't know. We raised the car a little bit on just before our last pit stop, just before the rain, and it worked good after that.
When it was raining and you were sitting deep in the field, did you have any idea that this is the way it would work out? Because Holtzhausen was running strong, Carlson was running strong.
You know, if somebody would have said, okay, I think we're about 8th at that time. If somebody said, okay, we're going to end the race right now, you can have 8th, I probably would have taken it and went home because we weren't handling very good at that point.
But you'll definitely take first, a $5,000 prize. Presenting the plaque from R.J. Reynolds is Brett Daly and Ralph Angelari, and the traditional wreath being placed around Butch Miller. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, a 300-lap winner, Butch Miller!